The great crystal hall of Veltara glowed with soft blue light as hundreds of alien beings gathered for their monthly meeting. This was the Galactic Council, where the most powerful races in the galaxy made decisions about war, peace, and trade. Today, they had an important topic to discuss. Elder Keth Moran stood at the center of the hall. His body was made of living light that shifted and changed colors when he spoke. He was very old, even by the standards of his race, the Velnathi. His people had been watching the galaxy for millions of years. They knew things that other races had forgotten. "My fellow council members," Keth Moran began, his voice echoing through the hall like distant thunder. "We must talk about the dangerous sector near the star humans call Sol. The third planet in that system has been marked as extremely dangerous." A loud laugh came from the section where the Alterian Empire sat. Commander Hyun-woo stood up, his tall frame covered in gleaming metal armor. His people were warriors who had conquered dozens of worlds. They believed that superior weapons could solve any problem. "Dangerous?" Hyun-woo said with a smirk. "Elder, you speak of primitives who still use chemical rockets. They have not even left their own star system. My fleet could destroy their entire world in one day." Captain Ji-hai, who served under Hyun-woo, activated a holographic display. It showed Earth and its primitive technology. "Look at their weapons," she said. "Nuclear bombs that are thousands of years behind our smallest ship weapons. They fight each other with metal bullets and explosives. How could such backward creatures threaten anyone?" But Keth Moran's light grew darker, showing his worry. "3 expeditions have already gone to that system," he said slowly. "None returned. The last transmission we received was a warning to stay away. It came from Admiral Zeknoth of the Hegemony's 5th Fleet." Admiral Taemin of the Kroden Hegemony stood up quickly. His body was half machine, with glowing implants, covering his blue skin. "Zeknoth was old and weak," he said angrily. "His failure does not reflect the true power of the Hegemony. These humans are nothing but animals who learn to use fire." Captain Sujin of the Zephyrian Collective nodded in agreement. Her people were masters of mind control and psychological warfare. "Our studies show that humans have simple brains," she said. "They should be easy to control. A few demonstrations of our power, and they will surrender like all the others." Keth Moran's form began to pulse with warning colors. "You do not understand," he said urgently. "The humans are different. Our computers cannot predict their behavior. They do things that make no logical sense. When they should surrender, they fight harder. When they should accept defeat, they find new ways to resist." Commander Hyun-woo waved his hand dismissively. "Computer errors. Nothing more. Fear has clouded your judgment, Elder. The Alterian Empire has never met a species we could not defeat." "The humans have a saying," Keth Moran continued, ignoring the interruption. "They call it fighting dirty. They do not follow the rules of civilized warfare. They use anything as a weapon. They sacrifice themselves to hurt their enemies. They never stop learning, never stop adapting." Admiral Taemin's cybernetic implants flashed with amusement. "Desperation tactics of a weak species. My ships have shields that can withstand the explosion of a star. What could these primitives possibly do to harm us?" Captain Sujin added, "Our mind control technology has never failed. Once we establish mental contact with their leaders, they will obey our commands. The humans will become our servants, just like the Gorthak and the Millennian slaves." Other council members began to murmur among themselves. The 3 major powers, the Alterian Empire, the Krodan Hegemony, and the Zephyrian Collective, controlled most of the galaxy's military forces. If they agreed to attack Earth together, few other races would oppose them. Keth Moran made one last attempt to warn them. "Listen to me carefully," he said, his voice growing louder. "The humans are not like other species. They evolved as hunters on a deadly planet. Every creature on their world tries to kill them. So they learned to kill everything else first. They are apex predators who developed intelligence as a weapon." "Enough!" shouted Hyun-woo. "Your fears dishonor this council. The Alterian Empire calls for a vote. We propose a joint expedition to the Sol system to establish contact with these humans and evaluate their world for resource extraction." Admiral Taemin stood in support. "The Krodan Hegemony seconds this proposal. It is time to add another system to our territory." Captain Sujin also rose. The Zephyrian Collective agrees. We volunteer to handle the psychological conditioning of the human population. Around the hall, representatives from smaller races looked nervous. They remembered what happened to species who opposed the three major powers. Most voted in favor of the expedition. Only a few abstained, and none dared vote against it. As the vote concluded, Kethmaran's light dimmed to almost nothing. "Then it is decided," he said sadly. "But remember this moment. Remember that you were warned." Within hours of the vote, the three fleets began preparing for departure. The Altarian Empire's ships were massive and heavily armed, built like flying fortresses. The Krodan hegemony's vessels were sleek and fast, filled with advanced technology. The Zephyrian Collective's ships were strange and organic-looking, designed for psychological warfare. Commander Hyun Woo stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Galactic Dominion. The ship was the size of a small moon, armed with weapons that could crack planets. He looked at the star charts showing the route to Earth. "Navigator," he commanded. "Set course for the Sol system, maximum speed." Captain Ji Hai approached with a datapad. "Sir, I have the preliminary reports on human military capabilities. They have approximately 200 nations that fight each other regularly. Their weapons are primitive chemical explosives and metal projectiles. No energy shields, no faster-than-light travel, no antimatter weapons." Hyun Woo smiled coldly. "Perfect. They will make excellent slaves once we break their will to fight." On the Krodan flagship Iron Supremacy, Admiral Taemin was making similar preparations. His tactical computer displayed Earth's defenses, or lack thereof. "Pathetic," he muttered. "Their strongest weapons are barely capable of destroying a city. One of our minor frigates could conquer their entire planet." Captain Su Jin aboard the Zephyrian vessel, Mind's Eye, was studying human psychology reports. "Fascinating," she said to her crew. "They form emotional attachments to their offspring and mates. Perfect leverage points for control. Once we capture their families, the humans will do anything we command." None of them noticed that their communications were being monitored by the hidden Velnathi observing posts. Elder Kethmoran watched the three fleets depart with growing dread. He had seen the rise and fall of many civilizations, but something about the humans worried him more than anything else in his long life. "Computer," he said to his ship's artificial intelligence, "begin recording final testimonies from the expedition commanders. I fear we will need them for the memorial archives." The three massive fleets jumped to faster-than-light travel, heading toward a small yellow star on the edge of the galaxy. They carried enough firepower to destroy entire solar systems. Their crews were confident, their weapons were charged, and their plans were perfect. They had no idea that they were flying toward their doom. In the Sol system, Earth continued its quiet orbit around the Sun. 7 billion humans went about their daily lives, unaware that 3 alien armadas were approaching with conquest on their minds. Children played in parks, scientists worked in laboratories, and soldiers trained for wars against other humans. None of them knew that very soon they would need to fight for the survival of their entire species. And none of the approaching aliens knew that they had just made the worst mistake in galactic history. The hunt was about to begin, but the aliens had chosen the wrong prey. 6 months later, the massive alien fleet appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system. Their ships were so large they blocked out stars. The three fleets had traveled across the galaxy with one goal: to make Earth surrender and take its resources. Dr. Minho was working the night shift at the Deep Space Monitoring Station in South Korea when his computers started going crazy. Warning alarms filled the room with loud beeping sounds. Numbers flashed across his screens that made no sense. Director. "So young!" he called out, his voice shaking with excitement and fear. "You need to see this right away!" Director So Young rushed into the control room, still wearing her pajamas. She had been sleeping in the facility because of recent strange readings from space. When she saw the data on Minho's screen, her face went pale. "Those gravitational readings are impossible," she whispered. "Something massive just appeared near Jupiter. Not one object. Dozens of them." Within hours, every telescope on Earth was pointed toward the outer solar system. What they saw terrified and amazed them. Alien ships that dwarfed anything humans. had ever imagined floated in space like metal mountains. Each ship was easily the size of Earth's moon. Commander Hyunwoo stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking at the small blue planet on his main screen. It looked so peaceful, with white clouds swirling over green and brown continents. He could see city lights on the dark side of the planet, proof that intelligent life lived there. "Begin standard first contact protocols," he ordered his crew. "Open communication channels on all frequencies these primitives use." Captain Ji-Hai worked at her control station, sending the message to Earth. The signal was strong enough to reach every radio, television, and communication device on the planet. When she was ready, she nodded to her commander. Hyunwoo's voice boomed across Earth in hundreds of different languages, translated by advanced alien computers. "Primitive species of the third planet, I am Commander Hyunwoo of the Alterian Empire. You are now under the protection of the galactic community. Prepare your world for integration into our civilization." In the emergency command center beneath the United Nations building, President Da-Yun listened to the alien message with her military advisors. She was a small woman, but everyone in the room knew she had a will made of steel. She had led her country through 3 wars and never backed down from a fight. "Integration," she said with a cold smile. "They mean invasion." General Wu Bin, the head of Earth's combined military forces, studied the images of the alien fleet. "Ma'am, their ships are massive. Our satellites count over 200 vessels. Each one could probably destroy every major city on Earth." President Da-Yun stood up and walked to the communication panel. She pressed the button to broadcast on all channels. Her voice was calm and steady as she spoke to the alien commander. "This is President Da-Yun of the United Earth Government. We thank you for your interest in our world, but we must respectfully decline your offer of protection. Earth governs itself. Please respect our sovereignty and leave our solar system." On the alien flagship, Commander Hyunwoo stared at his communication officer in confusion. "Did they just refuse our offer?" Captain Ji-Hai checked her translation systems 3 times. "Yes, sir. They declined to surrender. This is unprecedented." Admiral Taemin's voice came through the communications system from his ship. "Perhaps they did not understand. My computers show no signs of fear in their transmissions. How is this possible?" Captain Su Jin of the Zephyrian Collective was running deep scans of human brain patterns. What she found confused her advanced psychological sensors. "Commanders, I am detecting massive spikes in human neural activity, but not fear patterns. They appear to be excited." Back on Earth, the aliens' arrival had indeed caused excitement, but not the kind they expected. In military bases around the world, soldiers and scientists were studying every image of the alien ships. Instead of panicking, humans did what they always did when faced with a new challenge. They started figuring out how to fight it. Dr. Yoon Ji, Earth's leading expert on alien life, was already working with teams of engineers and physicists. "Look at their ship designs," she said, pointing to detailed photographs. "Those hulls are smooth and perfect. That means they rely on energy shields for protection, not thick armor." In the Pentagon, General Young-ho was coordinating with military leaders from every nation. "I don't care how big their ships are," he said firmly. "Everything that flies can be shot down. Everything that exists can be destroyed. We just need to find out how." Commander Hyunwoo decided to try a different approach. He sent smaller ships toward Earth to make a show of force. "Perhaps a demonstration will help them understand their situation," he said. But when the alien scout ships entered Earth's atmosphere, something unexpected happened. Instead of running in panic, humans came outside to look at them. Children pointed at the sky with wonder. Scientists set up cameras and recording equipment. Military units tracked the ships but did not fire. "Sir," Captain Ji-Hai reported with concern, "the humans are studying us. Their technology is primitive, but they are collecting data on our ship's energy signatures and flight patterns." On Earth, Engineer Nari was indeed recording everything she could about the alien technology. "Look at how they move," she told her team. "No visible engines, no exhaust. They must be using some kind of gravity manipulation. If we can figure out how it works." The aliens sent another message to Earth, this time with more force in their voice. Admiral Taemin spoke for all three fleets. Humans of Earth, you have 24 of your hours to surrender. Send your leaders to our ships for processing. Resistance will result in the destruction of your major cities. President Dawan's response came quickly and firmly. Unknown vessels, you have 24 hours to leave our solar system. Any aggressive action against Earth or its people will be considered an act of war. The alien commanders could not believe what they were hearing. In thousands of years of conquest, no primitive species had ever threatened them. Captain Sujin ran deeper psychological scans of the human population. "Commanders," she reported with growing alarm, "I am detecting something impossible. The humans show no surrender instinct. When faced with superior force, most species submit. But humans appear to have a different response. They are preparing to fight." General Wu Bin was indeed preparing for war. Every military base on Earth was now on highest alert. "I want every weapon we have pointed at those ships," he ordered. "Nuclear missiles, conventional rockets, everything. If they want to fight, we'll give them one." Dr. Jin Wu, a physicist at Seoul National University, was working with teams around the world to analyze the alien technology. "Their ships are advanced, but they follow physical laws," he told the Emergency Science Council. "Energy has to come from somewhere. Those ships must have power sources, life support systems, weak points." The aliens were discovering that humans were unlike any species they had encountered. Most civilizations either surrendered immediately when faced with superior technology or they fought using predictable military tactics. Humans were doing neither. Captain Dong Hyun, a Special Forces commander, was already planning suicide missions against the alien fleet. "If those ships have shields," he told his team, "then someone needs to get close enough to study them. I volunteer for the first run." As the 24-hour deadline approached, both sides prepared for what was coming. The aliens loaded their weapons and prepared to demonstrate their overwhelming power. They expected the humans to surrender when they saw what advanced technology could do. But humans were making different preparations. In secret facilities around the world, scientists worked frantically to learn everything they could about alien technology. Military leaders planned desperate attacks that would gather intelligence, even if they failed. Neither side knew that this first contact would end very differently than anyone expected. The aliens thought they were about to conquer another primitive world. The humans thought they were about to fight for their survival. Both were wrong. What was about to begin was something much more dangerous than conquest or survival. It was the start of a hunt, and very soon, the hunters and the hunted would switch places in ways that would shock the entire galaxy. The 24-hour deadline passed with no surrender from Earth. Admiral Taemin was angry and confused. In all his years of conquest, no primitive species had ever refused to submit after seeing the size of his fleet. "They need a demonstration," he told the other commanders during their conference call. "Something to show them the price of defiance." Commander Hyun Woo agreed. "The moon. Destroying their satellite will cause massive destruction on their planet, but leave the world itself intact for our use. They will understand our power then." Captain Sujin ran psychological projections on her computers. "Yes, the loss of their moon will create fear. Humans form emotional attachments to celestial objects. This will break their will to resist. Earth's moon had watched over humanity for millions of years. It controlled the tides, lit up the night sky, and inspired countless poems and songs. When the alien ships turned their weapons toward it, every human on the planet felt a chill of dread. The attack lasted only minutes. Massive energy beams struck the moon from 3 different directions. The ancient satellite, which had survived asteroid impacts and cosmic radiation for billions of years, cracked like an egg. Then it exploded in a burst of light brighter than the sun. The destruction was beautiful and terrible. Chunks of moon rock flew in all directions. Some pieces fell toward Earth like burning meteors. The gravitational changes began immediately, causing massive earthquakes and tidal waves across the planet. In Seoul, Dr. Minho watched the destruction through his telescope with tears in his eyes. "They killed our moon," he whispered. "How could they destroy something so beautiful?" But as the first tidal waves hit Earth's coastlines, something unexpected happened. Instead of surrender messages, the aliens detected a planet-wide surge of communications. Every radio frequency was filled with human voices, but not voices of fear and submission. Captain Ji-Hai monitored the human communications with growing alarm. "Sir, they are not sending surrender signals. They appear to be coordinating military responses." On Earth, President Da-Yoon spoke to the nation from an emergency bunker deep underground. Her voice was calm, but filled with cold anger. "My fellow humans, they have shown us what they think of our world. They destroyed our moon to frighten us into submission. But they have made a serious mistake. They have united 7 billion people, who now have the same goal, to make them pay for what they have done." General Wu Bin was coordinating rescue efforts for the coastal cities hit by the massive waves, but even as millions of people died, he was planning revenge. "Every human on this planet now understands what we are fighting," he said to his staff. "They are not here to talk. They are here to destroy us. So we destroy them first." The aliens expected panic, chaos, and quick surrender. Instead, they found something that confused their advanced computers. Within hours of the moon's destruction, Earth's entire industrial system began changing. Factories that made cars started making weapons. Scientists who studied peaceful subjects began working on ways to hurt the alien invaders. Dr. Yun Ji made a broadcast that the aliens intercepted with their communication systems. Her voice was steady and scientific, but the aliens' translation computers detected undertones of pure hatred. "To the beings who destroyed our moon," she said, "you have made a grave error in judgment. You believe you are dealing with a typical primitive species. You are wrong. You are now fighting 7 billion apex predators who have spent millions of years learning how to kill anything that threatens them." Commander Hyunwoo was disturbed by the human response. "This is not normal behavior," he told his officers. "When we destroyed the Yelthari homeworld, their species surrendered within hours. Why are these humans not afraid?" The answer came from Captain Su Jin, whose psychological analysis equipment was showing readings she had never seen before. "Commander, human brains work differently than other species. When most creatures face overwhelming danger, they feel fear and submit. But humans have a different response. Fear makes them angry. Anger makes them dangerous. On Earth, the response to the moon's destruction was indeed driven by anger. But it was not the wild, uncontrolled anger the aliens expected. It was cold, calculating rage focused on a single goal, finding ways to hurt the invaders. Engineer Nari led a team of scientists studying the debris from the moon attack. "Look at these energy readings," she said, showing her data to the others. "Their weapons are powerful, but they generate massive amounts of waste heat. That means their ships need cooling systems." Dr. Jinwoo was working with physicists around the world to understand alien technology. "Every system has weaknesses," he said during a video conference with scientists from 12 countries. "Their ships are big, which means they are slow to change direction. Their weapons are powerful, which means they use a lot of energy." Within 72 hours of the moon's destruction, the first human attacks began. Small rockets launched from hidden sites around the world, aimed directly at the alien fleet. The aliens detected them easily and destroyed them with their defensive systems. But Commander Hyunwoo was confused by what he saw. "These attacks make no sense," he told Captain Ji-Hai. "The humans are launching ships with no weapons, no shields, no hope of survival. Are they trying to commit suicide?" Captain Ji-Hai studied the wreckage of the destroyed human ships. "Sir, each vessel was carrying sensor equipment. They were not trying to attack us. They were gathering intelligence about our defensive systems." The aliens began to realize that every failed human attack was actually a learning experience. Humans were sending ships to die for the specific purpose of discovering how alien weapons worked. This was not the behavior of a primitive species driven by fear. Captain Su Jin reported something even more disturbing. "Commanders, the humans are adapting faster than our computers can track. Each new attack uses information gathered from the previous one. They are learning how to fight us in real time." On Earth, Professor Young-Soo was analyzing data from the suicide missions. His team had lost 12 brave volunteers, but the information they gathered was priceless. "Their energy shields have a specific frequency," he announced to the resistance. "Leadership. If we can match that frequency, we can disrupt their defenses." General Wu Bin coordinated a global network of resistance cells. Every major city that survived the tidal waves was now part of a unified military command. "The aliens think in terms of overwhelming force," he explained to his commanders. They expect us to meet their big ships with big weapons. Instead, we hit them with small attacks from every direction. The aliens' advanced tactical computers were designed to fight other high-tech civilizations that followed predictable military strategies. They could not adapt to human tactics that seemed random and illogical. Captain Dong Hyun led a strike team that infiltrated one of the smaller alien ships using modified scuba gear and stolen alien technology. His team died in the attack, but not before they planted sensors throughout the ship and transmitted valuable data back to Earth. They have life support systems, Dr. Mi Young reported after analyzing the data. That means they breathe something, which means they can be poisoned. Their ships have gravity, which means they need artificial gravity generators. Everything they depend on can be turned into a weapon against them. Admiral Tae Min was receiving reports that made no sense to his military experience. Sir, the humans are attacking our ships with modified civilian vehicles. A human driving a primitive automobile somehow penetrated our outer defenses and damaged our sensor array. The attack he was describing had been led by Min Seo, a taxi driver from Busan who volunteered for a suicide mission. She had covered her car with metal plates and filled it with explosives made from household chemicals. The alien sensors were designed to detect advanced weapons, not primitive bombs hidden in civilian vehicles. Commander Hyun Woo called an emergency meeting with the other fleet commanders. We need to change our strategy, he admitted reluctantly. These humans fight unlike any species we have encountered. Our conventional tactics are not working. But changing strategy was difficult for civilizations that had used the same methods to conquer hundreds of worlds. Their military doctrines were based on technological superiority and overwhelming force. They had no experience fighting an enemy that refused to be overwhelmed. Captain Su Jin provided psychological analysis that disturbed all three commanders. The humans are not fighting to win, she reported. They are fighting to learn. Every attack teaches them something new about our capabilities. They are treating this war as a research project. On Earth, that analysis was exactly correct. Dr. Hyun Jung was coordinating with resistance scientists around the world to share information from every attack. We are not trying to destroy their fleet with these raids, she explained to her team. We are trying to understand how their technology works so we can use it against them. The aliens had expected a quick conquest, followed by the integration of a new slave species. Instead, they found themselves trapped in Earth's gravity well, under constant attack from an enemy that learned something new from every failure. And deep in hidden bunkers around the world, human scientists were beginning to understand alien technology well enough to turn it into weapons that would terrify their creators. 6 months had passed since the aliens destroyed Earth's moon. The aliens controlled all major cities and most of the planet's surface, but they were learning that controlling territory meant nothing when fighting humans. Every day brought new attacks from an enemy that seemed to appear from nowhere and disappear just as quickly. Engineer Nari worked in a hidden laboratory built inside an abandoned subway tunnel beneath Seoul. Around her, teams of scientists and engineers worked with equipment that would have terrified the alien invaders. They had taken alien technology and modified it in ways that violated every safety protocol the aliens had ever known. The gravity manipulation system is ready for testing, Nari announced to her team. Her hands were dirty with grease, and her eyes were red from lack of sleep, but she smiled with satisfaction. We have removed all the safety limits and overridden the automatic shutoffs. The device on her workbench looked like alien technology, but it had been rebuilt by human hands. Where the original alien device was elegant and safe, the human version was crude and dangerous. The aliens designed their technology to work efficiently within safe parameters. Humans had stripped away everything that prevented maximum power output. Dr. Jin Woo, who had escaped from the occupied city of Daegu, examined Nari's work with amazement. This will tear apart anything within 100 meters, he said with admiration. The aliens would never build something this destructive. That is exactly the point, Nari replied. They think in terms of elegant solutions and perfect engineering. We think in terms of killing the enemy by any means necessary. Above ground, Captain Su Jin was conducting another psychological analysis of human behavior patterns. Her findings continued to disturb the alien command structure. She stood in the ruins of what used to be Busan, surrounded by the wreckage of human and alien technology. The human resistance is exhibiting behavior patterns that do not match any Known species profile, she reported to Commander Hyunwoo via communication link. They are not following standard insurgency tactics. They appear to be experimenting with our technology. Commander Hyunwoo was growing frustrated with the lack of progress in subduing the human population. His massive ships controlled the skies. His weapons could destroy any human military installation, but the humans refused to stay defeated. "Explain what you mean by experimenting," he demanded. Captain Soo-jin pulled up data from recent attacks. Yesterday, humans attacked our supply depot using our own energy weapons. But they had modified the weapons to overload and explode. 3 of our ships were destroyed by their own technology turned against them. The attack she described had been led by Captain Dong-hyun, who had survived his previous mission and learned valuable lessons about alien technology. He had discovered that alien energy weapons could be rigged to explode if their safety systems were disabled. The aliens build everything to be safe and reliable, Dong-hyun had explained to his strike team before the mission. But safe and reliable also means predictable. We make their own weapons unsafe and unreliable. Then we use those weapons to kill them. Dr. Hyun-jung was working in another hidden facility. This one built inside a natural cave system in the mountains near Jeonju. Her team had made a discovery that would change the nature of the war completely. "Look at this," she said, showing her colleagues a captured alien computer core. Their artificial intelligence systems are incredibly advanced, but they have one critical weakness. They cannot learn from events that fall outside their programming parameters. Professor Young-soo studied the alien computer with fascination. "You mean they cannot adapt to completely new situations?" "Exactly," Hyun-jung replied. "The alien computers can handle any scenario they were programmed to expect, but when humans do something completely unexpected, their systems fail to respond appropriately." This discovery explained why human tactics were so effective against superior alien technology. The aliens had programmed their computers to fight other high-tech civilizations that followed logical military strategies. They had never considered the possibility of fighting an enemy that deliberately chose illogical tactics. General Woo Bin was coordinating resistance operations from a mobile command center that moved through the underground tunnel systems of the Korean peninsula. His strategy was simple. Never do what the enemy expects, never fight the same way twice, and always learn something new from every engagement. "Today we attack their communication relay with modified kitchen equipment," he announced to his staff. "Tomorrow we hit their fuel depot with weaponized farm machinery. The day after that, we use their own medical supplies to poison their water systems." Admiral Tae-min was receiving reports that made no sense according to any military doctrine he had studied. "How does a primitive species turn food preparation devices into effective weapons?" he asked his tactical computer. The computer's response was the same error message it had been displaying for weeks. Unable to calculate probability matrices for enemy behavior patterns. The attack Tae-min was referring to had been designed by Engineer Kyung-ho, who had realized that alien technology could be controlled by any device that generated the right electromagnetic frequencies. He had modified microwave ovens to disrupt alien communication systems and turned electric rice cookers into jamming devices. The aliens use incredibly sophisticated technology, Kyung-ho had explained to his team, but sophisticated technology can be disrupted by simple electromagnetic interference. We use their complexity against them. Captain Ji-hai was growing concerned about the morale of her own troops. Alien soldiers who had conquered dozens of worlds were now requesting transfers away from Earth. Many refused to leave their ships for ground operations. "Sir," she reported to Commander Hyunwoo, "the crew is expressing fear. They have never encountered an enemy like this before." The fear was well justified. Alien soldiers were trained to fight other aliens using advanced weapons and predictable tactics. They were not prepared to fight humans who used everything from modified household appliances to weaponized children's toys in their attacks. Dr. Mi Young had made another disturbing discovery while studying captured alien biology. Their species evolved in a very different way than humans, she explained to the Resistance Science Council. Each alien race specializes in one particular type of environment or problem. They are very good at what they evolved to do, but they cannot adapt to new challenges. "What about humans?" asked Dr. Yoonji. "Humans are generalists," Mi Young replied. "We evolved to survive in any environment, eat any food, use any tool. We can adapt to anything because adaptation is what we do best. This biological difference explained why human resistance was so effective. The aliens were specialists who had perfected specific technologies for specific purposes. When humans used those technologies in completely different ways, the aliens could not understand or counter the new applications. Engineer Min Seo had escaped from the destroyed city of Busan and was now leading a team that specialized in capturing alien equipment. Her group had developed techniques for stealing alien technology right from under their noses. The aliens guard their important equipment very carefully, she explained to new recruits. But they do not bother to guard their trash. We take their broken devices and repair them with human engineering. Then we use their own tools to attack them. The human modifications to alien technology horrified alien engineers who saw them. Where alien technology was precise and elegant, human modifications were crude but effective. Humans would tear apart a sophisticated alien device and rebuild it using metal scraps, electrical wire, and chemical explosives. Captain Su Jin reported another psychological anomaly that disturbed the alien command. The humans are not trying to minimize casualties, she said. They appear to welcome dangerous missions. Many volunteer for attacks that have no chance of survival. What the aliens did not understand was human psychology under extreme stress. When faced with the complete destruction of their civilization, humans did not become more careful. They became more willing to take risks that other species would consider insane. Professor Wu Xin, working in a hidden laboratory beneath the ruins of Guangzhou, had made a breakthrough in understanding alien weak points. Every alien device we have captured has the same flaw, he announced to his team. They are designed to work perfectly under normal conditions, but they fail catastrophically when pushed beyond their design limits. This discovery led to a new type of attack that the aliens called human pattern warfare. Instead of trying to match alien technology with equivalent human technology, humans learned to make alien devices destroy themselves. Dr. So Min was coordinating these new attacks from a command center built inside a natural cave system. We are not fighting their technology with our technology, she explained to resistance leaders around the world. We are making their technology fight itself. The strategy was working. Alien ships were being destroyed by their own overloaded systems. Alien weapons were exploding in the hands of alien soldiers. Alien computers were crashing when humans fed them impossible data. Commander Hyun Woo called another emergency meeting with the other fleet commanders. The situation was getting worse instead of better, and none of them understood why. We need to request reinforcements from the GAE. 2 years had passed since the aliens first arrived at Earth. The war had changed completely from what anyone expected. The aliens still controlled the major cities and the skies above Earth, but they were no longer the hunters. They had become the hunted. Captain Dong Hyun crept through the maintenance tunnels of the alien command ship Galactic Dominion. His team of 12 humans moved silently through passages that the aliens never thought to guard. They carried weapons made from captured alien technology, but modified in ways that would horrify their original creators. Remember the plan, Dong Hyun whispered to his team through their stolen communication devices. We plant the modified power cores in their main engine room. When they overload, the chain reaction will destroy the entire ship. The power cores they carried were originally alien emergency batteries, but human engineers had removed all safety systems and rewired them to explode with the force of a small nuclear weapon. The aliens had designed them to provide safe backup power. Humans had turned them into bombs. Behind them, the rest of Dong Hyun's infiltration team was setting similar devices throughout the massive ship. They had learned to move through alien vessels like ghosts, using the aliens' own technology to hide from their sensors. Engineer Hyun Jung was working at her console when her modified alien scanner detected the human infiltrators, but instead of raising an alarm, she smiled. Hyun Jung was not human anymore. She was one of hundreds of humans who had undergone experimental procedures to look like aliens. Infiltration team is in position, she reported quietly into her communication device. All alien crew members are accounted for. We can begin the next phase. The aliens had never encountered an enemy that could disguise itself to look like them. Their identification systems were designed to recognize alien species, not humans who had surgically altered themselves to pass as aliens. It was another impossible thing that humans had made possible. On the bridge of the Galactic Dominion, Commander Hyun-woo was studying reports that made his head hurt. Human attacks were becoming more sophisticated every day. What had started as desperate suicide missions had evolved into complex operations that his tactical computers could not predict or counter. "Sir," Captain Ji-hai reported with growing alarm, "3 more of our supply ships have disappeared. No distress signals, no wreckage, no evidence of what destroyed them." Hyun-woo knew what had happened to those ships, even though he could not prove it. Human strike teams were capturing alien vessels intact and flying them away. The humans were building their own fleet using stolen alien technology. Dr. Mi-young was leading one of those captured ships through space near Mars. The vessel had originally been an alien transport, but human engineers had modified it beyond recognition. Where the aliens had built elegant control systems, humans had installed crude but effective weapons. "How are the new recruits adapting to alien technology?" asked General Young-ho, who was commanding the human space fleet from the bridge of a captured alien cruiser. "Faster than the aliens adapt to our tactics," Mi-young replied with satisfaction. "It took their species thousands of years to develop this technology. Our people learned to use it in weeks." The human space fleet was small compared to the massive alien armada, but it had advantages that the aliens could not understand. Human ships were unpredictable because they combined alien technology with human creativity. They fought in ways that alien computers had never been programmed to expect. Captain Soo-jin was experiencing psychological problems that her medical staff could not treat. As a specialist in mind control and psychological warfare, she was supposed to understand how other species thought. But human psychology made no sense to her. "They should be broken by now," she said to her medical officer, a strange desperation in her voice. 2 years of occupation, millions dead, their moon destroyed. Any other species would have surrendered or gone extinct. But humans were not any other species. Instead of breaking under pressure, they had become more dangerous. Every setback taught them new lessons. Every defeat made them more creative in finding ways to strike back. Dr. Yoon-ji was working in a laboratory that had been built inside a captured alien research facility. Her team was studying alien biology with the same intensity that the aliens had once used to study humans. What they discovered was both fascinating and terrifying. "Look at this genetic analysis," she said to her research team. "The aliens are evolutionary specialists. Each species developed to be perfect at one specific task. The Alterians are perfect warriors. The Crodans are perfect engineers. The Zephyrians are perfect psychologists." Professor Young-soo studied the data with growing understanding. "That means they cannot change what they are. They can only do what they evolved to do." "Exactly," Yoon-ji replied. "But humans evolved to be generalists. We can become anything we need to become. Warriors, engineers, psychologists, or something completely new." This discovery explained why human resistance had been so effective. The aliens were fighting the way their species had always fought, using tactics that had worked for thousands of years. But humans changed their tactics constantly, becoming whatever type of fighter the situation required. Engineer Nari had captured an alien admiral during a raid on their command post. Admiral Velgoth of the Crodan hegemony was now a prisoner in a human underground facility, and his interrogation was providing valuable intelligence. "Your species?" the alien admiral said with something that might have been respect. "You are not supposed to exist. Evolution should have eliminated creatures like you before you achieved intelligence." Nari studied the alien with cold curiosity. "Why?" "Because you are too dangerous," Velgoth replied. "A species that can adapt to anything, fight with anything, learn from anything. The galaxy has never seen anything like you." The Admiral's words were being broadcast to resistance cells around the world. Humans were learning that they were not just fighting for their planet. They were fighting as representatives of something the galaxy had never encountered before. Captain Min Seo was leading a strike team through the ventilation systems of an alien mining facility when she overheard a conversation that changed everything. 2 alien engineers were discussing something that made her blood run cold. "The reinforcement fleet from the core worlds will arrive in 6 months. one engineer said to the other. 10,000 ships with crews from every member species of the Galactic Council. Will that be enough to defeat these humans? Asked the second engineer. It has to be, the first replied. If the humans capture our technology and learn to travel between stars, they will spread across the galaxy like a plague. Every world they touch will become like Earth. Min Seo recorded the conversation and transmitted it back to Earth immediately. The news spread through the Resistance network like wildfire. The aliens were calling for massive reinforcements, but more importantly, they were afraid of what would happen if humans learned to travel to other star systems. President Da-un, now leading the Resistance from a mobile command center, called an emergency meeting of all Resistance leaders. We have 6 months, she announced. 6 months to capture enough alien technology to build our own starships. 6 months to prepare for a war that will determine the fate of our species. General Wu Bin was already planning the next phase of operations. We need to capture their shipyards, he said. Not just individual ships, but the facilities where they build and repair their fleet. Dr. So-min had been studying the alien communication networks and had discovered something important. Their homeworlds are not prepared for attack, she reported. They have never fought a war on their own territory. Their defenses are designed to keep out other alien species, not humans. The plan that emerged from these meetings was audacious even by human standards. Instead of waiting for the alien reinforcements to arrive, humanity would strike first. They would capture enough alien technology to build their own fleet, then attack the alien homeworlds before the massive reinforcement fleet could organize. Engineer Kyung Ho was already working on designs for human-built starships using captured alien technology. We cannot build ships like theirs, he explained to his engineering teams. But we can build ships that are better suited for the kind of war we fight. The human ship designs were crude compared to elegant alien vessels, but they had advantages that alien engineers had never considered. Human ships were built to be repaired with simple tools and spare parts. They could be modified quickly for different missions. Most importantly, they were designed to be expendable. The aliens build ships to last for centuries, Kyung Ho said. We build ships to destroy the enemy and survive long enough to do it again. Admiral Tae Min was receiving intelligence reports that terrified him. Human strike teams were targeting alien shipyards throughout the solar system. They were not trying to destroy the facilities. They were capturing them intact. Sir, his intelligence officer reported, the humans have seized control of our automated construction facility on Europa. They are using our own systems to build ships of their own design. The ships coming out of the captured shipyards horrified alien observers. They combined alien technology with human engineering in ways that violated every principle of safe design. Human ships had no safety systems, no backup protocols, no automated The final battle for Earth began not in the skies above the planet, but in the vast shipyards that humans had captured throughout the solar system. Captain Min Seo stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, the flagship of Earth's new fleet. The ship was a terrifying combination of alien technology and human engineering that should not have been able to fly, much less fight. All ships report ready for launch, announced Dr. Mi Young from her position as Fleet Communications Officer. Around them, dozens of human-built vessels prepared for the most desperate attack in human history. The human fleet was tiny compared to the massive alien armada still orbiting Earth. But Admiral Young Ho, commanding from the bridge of the Indomitable, was confident in their strategy. Remember, he broadcast to all ships, we are not trying to outfight them. We are trying to outthink them. Each human ship was a weapon designed by people who had spent 2 years learning how alien technology worked and how to make it fail. Where alien ships were built for safety and efficiency, human ships were built for one purpose: to destroy alien vessels by any means necessary. Commander Hyun-woo watched the human fleet approach on his tactical display and felt something he had never experienced before in battle: fear. The human ships moved in patterns that his computers could not predict. They flew in formations that made no tactical sense according to any military doctrine he knew. Sir, Captain Ji-hai reported, with barely controlled panic, their lead ship is broadcasting a message on all frequencies. Captain Min Seo's voice echoed through every alien ship in the fleet. Her words were translated by alien computers, but the cold hatred in her voice needed no translation. This is Captain Min Seo of the Earth Defense Fleet. You came to our world as conquerors. You destroyed our moon. You killed our people. Now you will learn what it means to fight humans on our terms. The battle began when the human fleet opened fire with weapons that the aliens had never seen before. These were not elegant energy beams or sophisticated missiles. These were crude, brutal weapons that violated every principle of civilized warfare. Engineer Nari had designed the primary weapon system of the Indomitable. It was a gravity manipulation device that had been modified far beyond its original specifications. Instead of creating smooth gravitational fields for propulsion, it generated chaotic gravity storms that tore alien ships apart from the inside. "Target their flagship," Mincio ordered. "Show them what happens when you threaten Earth." The gravity weapon fired, and Commander Hyunwoo's massive ship began to shake apart. The elegant alien hull, designed to withstand the vacuum of space and the stress of faster-than-light travel, crumpled like paper when subjected to impossible gravitational forces. "Impossible!" Hyunwoo shouted as his bridge collapsed around him. "How did they weaponize our own propulsion technology?" The answer was simple. Humans did not think in terms of what technology was supposed to do. They thought in terms of what it could be made to do. Where aliens saw a propulsion system, humans saw a weapon waiting to be unleashed. Admiral Taemin tried to coordinate a defense, but his tactical computers were useless against human attack patterns. The human ships fought like a pack of wild animals, striking from unexpected directions and disappearing before alien weapons could target them. Dr. Hyunjung commanded one of the smaller human vessels, a ship built entirely from salvaged alien parts. Her crew had modified their ship's shields to work backwards, creating energy fields that disrupted alien systems instead of protecting against them. "Target their communication array," she ordered her weapons officer. "Cut off their ability to coordinate." The modified shield system fired a burst of energy that crashed the entire alien fleet's communication network. Suddenly, the massive alien ships could not talk to each other, could not coordinate their movements, could not call for help. Captain Sujin watched her psychological warfare systems fail completely as human ships swarmed around her vessel like angry insects. Every time she tried to establish mental contact with human crews, she encountered minds that were completely unlike anything she had studied. "They are not afraid," she reported to anyone who could still hear her. "They should be terrified. Our ships are 100 times larger than theirs, but their brain patterns show excitement. They are enjoying this battle." She was right. After 2 years of hiding underground and fighting a guerrilla war, the humans were finally able to fight their enemies in open space. Captain Dong Hyun, commanding a ship built from 3 different alien vessels welded together, laughed with pure joy as he piloted his craft through the alien formation. "This is for our moon!" he shouted as he rammed his ship directly into an alien cruiser. The collision destroyed both vessels, but the alien ship was worth 100 times more than the crude human craft. General Wu Bin, coordinating the battle, from Earth's surface watched the engagement with grim satisfaction. "All units, execute Plan Omega," he commanded. Plan Omega was the final phase of the human attack. Instead of trying to destroy the entire alien fleet, the humans focused on capturing the most important vessels intact. Strike teams that had been hidden on human ships since the battle began now launched themselves at alien command ships. Engineer Kyung-ho led one of these boarding parties. His team cut through the hull of Admiral Taemin's flagship using modified alien cutting tools. Once inside, they moved through the ship like a virus, taking control of critical systems and turning the ship's own defenses against other alien vessels. "Computer, target all remaining enemy ships and fire all weapons," Kyung-ho commanded the alien ship's artificial intelligence. The AI, programmed to obey anyone with proper command codes, complied. The alien flagship began firing on its own fleet, causing chaos and confusion throughout the remaining alien ships. Admiral Taemin tried to regain control of his ship, but found that humans had modified his command systems. Every order he gave was interpreted by computers that now followed human programming. "You cannot do this," he said to Kyung-ho when the human engineer reached the bridge. "We are a superior species. This is not possible." Kyung-ho looked at the alien admiral with cold eyes. "You keep using that word, impossible. I do not think it means what you think it means." Captain Ji-hai made a final desperate attempt to escape in one of the few remaining alien ships. But as she tried to jump to faster-than-light speed, she discovered that humans had sabotaged their escape route. Human engineers had modified the navigation systems of every captured alien vessel. Instead of jumping to safety, her ship appeared in the middle of the human fleet. Before she could react, her vessel was surrounded by human ships that opened fire with weapons designed for one purpose: to prevent any alien from leaving Earth's solar system alive. Professor Young-Soo, monitoring the battle from a captured alien command post, made an announcement that would be remembered throughout human history. All alien vessels have been destroyed or captured. Earth's solar system is now under human control. But the victory was only the beginning. Dr. So-min was already coordinating the next phase of human expansion. Using captured alien star charts and navigation data, she had located the home systems of every species that had participated in the invasion. "We know where they came from," she announced to the fleet commanders. "We know where their families live. We know where their governments meet. And we know how to get there." President Da-yoon, emerging from her underground bunker for the first time in 2 years, made a broadcast that would be transmitted across the galaxy using captured alien communication systems. "To the Galactic Council and all member species," she began, her voice carrying the authority of someone who had led her people through the darkest period in human history. "You sent fleets to conquer our world. You destroyed our moon. You killed our people. You were warned to stay away from Earth's region. Your arrogance led to your destruction." The broadcast continued as human fleets prepared to leave Earth's solar system for the first time. Ships built from alien technology but designed by human engineers prepared to carry the war to those who had started it. "This message serves as your new warning," President Da-yoon concluded. "Humanity has left its cradle. We remember who tried to kill us while we were still learning to walk among the stars. We are coming for you." Dr. Yoon-ji, now serving as Earth's chief scientist for alien biology, had made a final discovery that explained why humans had won against impossible odds. "The aliens evolved to be perfect at specific tasks," she explained to the departing fleet commanders. "But perfection means they cannot change. Humans evolved to be imperfect but adaptable. When the situation changes, we change with it." Captain Min Seo, preparing to lead the first human expedition to an alien homeworld, studied the star charts with anticipation. "The Alterian Empire is 3 light-years away," she said to her crew. "Their planet has never been attacked in 10,000 years of their history." Engineer Nari, working on final modifications to the human fleet, smiled grimly as she installed weapons that no alien engineer would ever have conceived. "They will learn what humans do to those who threaten our children." The first human starships departed Earth carrying a message that would reshape the galaxy. Humanity had been tested by fire and had emerged as something the universe had never seen before: apex predators who had learned to hunt